Friday. So have a good Friday, have a good weekend. Cheers. I've been out shopping cola for the weekend and a little bit bread. I'm eating. Try to make some video in my language Danish about cars, history of the cars. I like to read about the wheel, the invention of the wheel. That's very important if you like to have a car, to have some wheels on your car. So I buy a little bread and I got some cola for the weekend. So I actually like to eat this bread now. So let's read. Now I have one more external hard drive. It's still empty. I got one more, like $130, 5,000 gigabytes. But I need to buy another one soon, because 1,000 video is 4,000 gigabytes. And I can make 1,000 videos in like 1 month. So I buy a new external hard drive. I'll buy another one next month. Yes, I need a minute. I need a minute to get myself ready.
Wheel. Page semi-protected. An early wheel made of a solid piece of wood. A wheel is a circular component that is intended to rotate on an axle bearing. The wheel is one of the key components of the wheel and axle, which is one of the 6 simple machines. Wheels, in conjunction with axles, allow heavy objects to be moved easily, facilitating movement or transportation while supporting a load, or performing labor in machines. Wheels are also used for other purposes, such as a ship's wheel, steering wheel, potter's wheel and flywheel. Common examples can be found in transport applications. A wheel reduces friction by facilitating motion by rolling together with fuse of axles. In order for wheels to rotate, a moment needs to be applied to the wheel about its axis, either by way of gravity or with application of another external force or torque. Using the wheel, Sumerians invented a device that spins clay as a potter shapes it into the desired object. Terminology. The English word wheel comes from the Old English word wheel, from Proto-Germanic *quehalus, from Proto-Indo-European *queklos. 1. An extended form of the root *quel, to revolve, move around. Cognates within Indo-European include Icelandic jol wheel, tire, Greek kaklos, and Sanskrit chakra, the last two both meaning circle or wheel. 2. History. The place and time of the invention of the wheel remains unclear, because the oldest hints do not guarantee the existence of real wheel transport, or are dated with too much scattered. 3. Mesopotamian civilization is credited with the invention of the wheel by a number of old sources. 4, 5, 6. However, according to some relatively recent sources, the wheel was not invented in Mesopotamia first. They suggest Eastern Europe or that Sumerians probably acquired the wheel from Indians, 7, 8, 9, and unlike other breakthrough inventions, the wheel cannot be attributed to a single nor several inventors. Evidence of early usage of wheeled carts has been found across the Middle East, in Europe, Eastern Europe, India and China. It is not known whether Chinese, Indians and Europeans invented the wheel independently or not. 10, 11. The invention of the solid wooden disc wheel falls into the late Neolithic, and may be seen in conjunction with other technological advances that gave rise to the early Bronze Age. This implies the passage of several wheelless millennia even after the invention of agriculture and of pottery, during the Aceramic Neolithic. 4500-3300 BCE, Copper Age invention of the potter's wheel, earliest solid wooden wheels, discs with a hole for the axle, earliest wheeled vehicles, domestication of the horse. 3300-2200 BCE, Early Bronze Age. 2200-1550 BCE, Middle Bronze Age invention of the spoked wheel and the chariot. This Ljubljana Marshes wheel with axle is the oldest wooden wheel yet discovered, dating to Copper Age, c. 3130 BCE. The Halaf culture of 650-510 BCE is sometimes credited with earliest depiction of a wheeled vehicle, but this is doubtful as there is no evidence of Halafians using either wheeled vehicles or even pottery wheels. 12. Precursors of pottery wheels, known as tonets or slow wheels, were known in the Middle East with 5th millennium BCE. One of the earliest examples was discovered at Teb Pardis, Iran, and dated to 5200-470 BCE. These were made of stone or clay and secured to the ground with a peg in the center, but required significant effort to turn. True potter's wheels, which are freely spinning and have a wheel and axle mechanism, were developed in Mesopotamia, Iraq, by 4200-4000 BCE. 13. The oldest surviving example, which was found in modern-day Iraq, dates to approximately 3100 BCE. 14. Wheels of uncertain dates have also been found in the Indus Valley Civilization, a 4th millennium BCE civilization covering areas of present-day India and Pakistan. 15. The oldest indirect evidence of wheeled movement was found in the form of miniature clay wheels north of Black Sea before 4000 BCE. From the middle of the 4th millennium BCE onward, the evidence is condensed throughout Europe in the form of toy cars, depictions, or ruts, with the oldest find in northern Germany dating back to around 3400 BCE. 16, 17, 18, in Mesopotamia. Depictions of wheeled wagons found on clay tablet pictographs at the Iana district of Iraq, in the Sumerian civilization are dated Tark 350-3350 BCE. 19. In the second half of the 4th millennium BCE, evidence of wheeled vehicles appeared near simultaneously in the northern, Makope culture, and South Caucasus and Eastern Europe, Kukutna-Tripolayan culture. A depiction of an Onija-drawn cart and the Sumerian wall panel of the Standard of Ur, c. 2500 BCE. Depictions of a wheeled vehicle appeared between 3631 and 3380 BCE in the Bronnesis clay pot excavated in a funnel beaker culture settlement in southern Poland. 20. In nearby Olsanica, a 2.2 m wide door was constructed for wagon entry. This barn was 40 m long with 3 doors, dated to 5000 BC.E 7000 years old and belonged to the Neolithic linear pottery culture. Surviving evidence of a wheel-axle combination, from Stepmaj near Ljubljana in Slovenia, Ljubljana Marshes wooden wheel, is dated within 2 standard deviations to 3340-3030 BCE. The axle to 3360-3045 BCE. 21. Two types of early Neolithic European wheel and axle are known: a circumalpine type of wagon construction. The wheel and axle rotate together, as in Ljubljana Marsh's wheel, and that of the Baden culture in Hungary, axle does not rotate. They both are dated to c. 3200–3000 BCE. 22. Some historians believe that there was a diffusion of the wheeled vehicle from the Near East to Europe around the mid-4th millennium BCE. 23. Early wheels were simple wooden discs with a hole for the axle. Some of the earliest wheels were made from horizontal slices of tree trunks. Because of the uneven structure of wood, a wheel made from a horizontal slice of a tree trunk will tend to be inferior to one made from rounded pieces of longitudinal boards. Solid wheels on a heavy temple car contrasted with the lighter wire-spoked wheels of the Black Roadster bicycle in the foreground. The spoked wheel was invented more recently and allowed the construction of lighter and swifter vehicles. The earliest known examples of wooden spoked wheels are in the context of the Sintashta culture, dating to c. 2000 BCE, Krivoy Lake. Soon after this, horse cultures of the Caucasus region used horse-drawn spoked wheel war chariots for the greater part of 3 centuries. They moved deep into the Greek peninsula, where they joined with existing Mediterranean peoples to give rise, eventually, to classical Greece after the breaking of Minoan dominance and consolidations led by pre-classical Sparta and Athens. Celtic Ariots introduced an iron rim around the wheel in the 1st millennium BCE. In China, wheel tracks dating to around 2200 BCE have been found at Pingliantai, a site of the Longshan culture. 24. Similar tracks were also found at Yinshi, a city of the Erlita culture, dating to around 1700 BCE. The earliest evidence of spoked wheels in China comes from Qinghai, in the form of 2-wheel hubs from a site dated between 2000 and 1500 BCE. 25. In Britain, a large wooden wheel, measuring about 1 m. 3.3 feet in diameter, was uncovered at the Must Farm site in East Anglia in 2016. The specimen, dating from 1100 to 800 BCE, represents the most complete and earliest of its type found in Britain. The wheel's hub is also present. A horse's spine found nearby suggests the wheel may have been part of a horse-drawn cart. The wheel was found in a settlement built on stilts over wetland, indicating that the settlement had some sort of link to dry land. 26. A figurine featuring the New World sign independently invented wheel. Among the places where wheeled toys were found, Mesomercia is the only one where the wheel was never put to practical use before the 16th century. Although large-scale use of wheels did not occur in the Americas prior to European contact, numerous small wheeled artifacts identified as children's toys have been found in Mexican archaeological sites, some dating to approximately 1500 BCE. 27. Some argue that the primary obstacle to large-scale development of wheel in the Americas was the absence of domesticated large animals that could be used to pull wheeled carriages. 28. The closest relative of cattle present in Americas in pre-Columbian times, the American bison, is difficult to domesticate and was never domesticated by Native Americans. Several horse species existed until about 12,000 years ago, but ultimately became extinct. 29. The only large animal that was domesticated in the Western Hemisphere, the llama, a pack animal, was not physically suited to use as a draft animal to pull wheeled vehicles. 30. And use of the llama did not spread far beyond the Andes by the time of the arrival of Europeans. On the other hand, Mesomercians never developed the wheelbarrow, the potter's wheel, nor any other practical object with a wheel or wheels. 31. 32. Although present in a number of toys very similar to those found throughout the world and still made for children today, pull toys. 31. 32. The wheel was never put into practical use in Mesomercia before the 16th century. 31. 32. Possibly the closest Myers came to the utilitarian wheel is the spindle whirl, and some scholars believe that these toys were originally made with spindle whorls and spindle sticks as wheels and axes. 32. Aboriginal Australians traditionally used circular discs rolled along the ground for target practice. 33. Nubians from after about 400 BCE used wheels for spinning pottery and as water wheels. 34. It is doubt that Nubian water wheels may have been ox-driven. 35. It is also known that Nubians used horse-drawn chariots imported from Egypt. 36. Starting from the 18th century in West Africa, wheeled vehicles were mostly used for ceremonial purposes in places like Dahomey. 37. The wheel was barely used for transportation, with the exception of Ethiopia and Somalia in sub-Saharan Africa well into the 19th century. 38. 37. Three-spoked wheels on an antique tricycle. The spoked wheel was in continued use without major modification until the 1870s, when wire-spoked wheels and pneumatic tires were invented. 39. Pneumatic tires can greatly reduce rolling resistance and improve comfort. Wire spokes are under tension, not compression, making it possible for the wheel to be both stiff and light. Early radially spoked wire wheels gave rise to tangentially spoked wire wheels, which were widely used on cars into the late 20th century. Cast alloy wheels are now more commonly used. Forged alloy wheels are used when weight is critical. The invention of the wheel has also been important for technology in general. Important applications including the water wheel, the cogwheel, see also Antikythera mechanism, the spinning wheel, and the astrolabe or torquetum. More modern descendants of the wheel include the propeller, the jet engine, the flywheel, gyroscope, and the turbine. Mechanics and function. A wheeled vehicle requires much less work to move than simply dragging the same weight. The low resistance to motion is explained by the fact that the frictional work done is no longer at the surface that the vehicle is traversing, but in the bearings. In the simplest and oldest case, the bearing is just a round hole through which the axle passes, a plain bearing. Even with a plain bearing, the frictional work is greatly reduced because the normal force at the sliding interface is same as with simple dragging. The sliding distance is reduced for a given distance of travel. The coefficient of friction at the interface is usually lower. Example: if a 100 kg object is dragged for 10 m along a surface with the coefficient of friction μ equals 0.5, the normal force is 981 N and the work done, required energy, is work equals force x distance, 9810.5 10 equals 4905 joules. Now give the object 4 wheels. The normal force between the 4 wheels and axles is the same, in total, 981 N. Assume, for wood, μ equals 0.25, and say the wheel diameter is 1000 and axle diameter is 50 mm. So while the object still moves 10 m, the sliding frictional surfaces only slide over each other a distance of 0.5 m. The work done is 981 0.25 0.5 equals 123 joules. The work done has reduced to 1/40 of that of dragging. Additional energy is lost from the wheel to road interface. This is termed rolling resistance, which is predominantly a deformation loss. It depends on the nature of the ground, of the material of the wheel, its inflation in the case of a tire, the net torque exerted by the eventual engine, and many other factors. A wheel can also offer advantages in traversing irregular surfaces if the wheel radius is sufficiently large compared to the irregularities. The wheel alone is not a machine. but when attached to an axle in conjunction with bearing, it forms wheel and axle, one of the simple machines. A driven wheel is an example of a wheel and axle. Wheels predate